get out of my face and stop touching my stuff. No, you always do this. Mom, she's troubling me again. Does that sound familiar? For anyone here with a sibling, this isn't just a conversation. This is their daily life. Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about a relationship that is as confusing as it is constant. Siblings. We grow up with them. We share our home, our stuff, and our personal space, whether we like it or not. And because of that proximity, they become the people that we clash with the most. Which brings us to an important question. How do you deal with a sibling? To deal with them, we must first understand the strange paradox at play. You see, your sibling, the one who will annoy you until you will scream, is the same person who will defend you against others. They will tease you until you cry, but will still check on you if something's wrong. It's a mix of opposites. In one moment, they are your biggest rival, the next minute, your strongest supporter. Can we all agree that siblings exist in a different time zone, whether it's getting ready for school or just putting on shoes? They become the slowest humans on earth. I remember one morning, I was getting late for school. I was very stressed. I looked over and there was my sibling. Well, sipping the cup of milk as if deaf all day. And at that moment, I didn't make a dramatic speech. I didn't scream at them. I just decided that for the rest of the day, they didn't exist for me. Like, I was not going to help them with their homework. I was not going to share my snacks. Nothing. But then, just 10 minutes later, we sat in the car. They showed me a funny video on their phone, and we both laughed about it together. Just like that, my strike was suddenly over. You see, with a sibling, you can't really stay mad for long. Not because the problem just disappears, but because you're so used to it, you keep going. You both argue with each other, you forget, and then you move on. And also because most fights between siblings is not about what they're fighting for. It's about proving a point. The constant need to be right and winning against each other. But even though they test your patience, they become our first friends. We have all had those days when we're just lying on the couch, staring at the ceiling, and dying of boredom. We check our phones, nothing. We check the TV, still nothing. But then you realize, I have a sibling. I remember once begging my sister to play a game with me, and the response, no brother, you always lose, and it's no fun. That was a moment of unnecessary honesty, but I kept begging. That's the beauty of it. A sibling is like an inbuilt friend. You might not always play with them, but sometimes when you're getting bored, they are usually the first person you turn to. Of course, being an inbuilt friend doesn't mean that they're always on your side. Like, you can hide a bad grade or a broken vase from your parents, but hiding it from your sibling? That's impossible. They will be the first one to expose you. In fact, sometimes it feels that their goal in life is just to make sure that mom knows everything you've ever done wrong. And have you ever noticed what happens when guests come over? Your sibling, they suddenly transform. They become the most well-behaved, polite, yes please, and no thank you person on the planet. And you're there standing thinking, who is this person? Because 5 minutes ago, they were a completely different human being. But on the other side, you can complain about them all day. You can call them annoying, loud, or messy. But the second someone else says something bad about them, you will be the first one to confront them. You will be like, relax, that's my sibling. And this relationship, it evolves over time. When I look at my father and my aunts, When they were kids, they fought over toys and space just like we do. But now, they call each other for advice. They laugh at the very things that used to make them cry. And those fights, they don't disappear. They just turn into memories. The memories that they will tell for the rest of their lives. And maybe siblings weren't even there to make our lives easier. They're just preparing us for the real world. The real world, full of people you can't control. People who won't agree with you. People you have to deal with. Your sibling is your first training ground. When they repeat that same annoying thing again and again, they teach you patience. When you both argue over something small, they teach you negotiation. And when sometimes you decide not to shout back at them, you learn self-control. And you won't learn these things in a textbook. You will realize that you've been learning this all your life. So, how do you deal with a sibling? I suppose it's not by stopping those fights, because that's not possible. It's about pausing and asking yourself, is this fight really worth it? It's about understanding that it's not about winning every argument. It's about growing through them. It's about cherishing the chaos a little bit more. Because one day you will realize that the person who was in your face for 10 years will be the same person who will have your back for the next 50. Thank you.